It skipped a generation.
Mine's thin. I've never had real thick hair though. It's always been thin and stringy.
My daughter was born with like 3 inches of hair and it stuck straight up.
Oh, that's good.
Straight up, and it was black.
My kids were born with lots of hair, and like one had dark hair and one had red hair, but then the rest of the time after that they were just towheads.
Mine were all bald. Mine were born bald and had a lot of hair later, but
They look almost like a baby doll. Like my son came out and like they parted his hair and styled him.
Emily, when she was born, she was, she had the original kind of blue eyes, but then when she was 3, her eyes turned to green and her hair turned brown. It was blonde.
Yeah. My youngest grandson, when he was born, his hair was kind of reddish brown, and then it was white underneath. Okay. So he had this head full of curls with blonde underneath, and they were tipped on the end.
Yeah.
I had a friend that she had a boy that had one blue eye, one brown eye, and he had blonde hair, and right in the back of his, he had a round spot of red, bright red hair.
I have cousins that have one, and one of my eyes has like a different color in it, but I have cousins that are like 2 different colored eyes. You look at them for a while and you're like, okay, I got it, I'm fine. It was a rolling chair and I just went sideways down.
Yeah.
And after that, they have an agreement.
Or we just signed under your line.
I guess, they didn't want that to happen. You can hear the door open.
Jane owes us. She doesn't know it.
All right, I
What's
think it's
that?
7.
Jane is on the call.
Jane, you owe us because we had to do all your signing.
I'm sorry. I would much rather be there than be laying in a hospital bed, trust me.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Get well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So I'm doing my duty by calling in.
All right.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're able to.
I'm on the call too, guys. This is Mike Elder. How are you?
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry I couldn't be there. We have our big cake event in Lexington this week, and I've got people here trying to put that together still.
Interesting.
We're glad to get joined us by, go to, there you go. That's what it's called. Yeah. All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Let's begin with roll call. Are you ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, Goldie Edwards. Here. Leanna Watt. Here. Ian Brigman. Here. Looked at our order. Judy Tyler. Here. Michelle Amos. Here. Carlin Dillon. Here. Becky Courier. Here. And Patty Long. Here.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to welcome all you new people, Dan and Leanna.
Go around.
Okay, that might be a good idea. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Start with you, Dan. We're just gonna go around the room and introduce.
What do you want to know?
Yeah, just tell us whatever you want to tell us.
Dan Brigman, as everybody knows, I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to see what the first meeting brings. I might be just absorbing information today, but I'm glad to serve on the board and I hope to make a positive difference.
Okay, thanks. We're glad to have you. And
I'm Leanna Watts. I was just asked to apply and did not think that was going to happen, but I'm super excited for this experience and to help where I can help.
okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm Goldie Edwards, and I'm very glad to be on the board. Learned a lot in these last few months, and you guys are doing some great things. So,
all right, I'm Jackie Halls, Director of Trails. So welcome to everyone. Glad to have all of you here.
Yeah, I'm Patty Long. I'm the president. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm here. So. Yeah, and I've been on the board a year, and this is going into my second year, so yeah, I'm glad to be here too.
And I'm Becky Courier. I've just been on here for a few months, came on whenever Goldie did as well to fill some vacancies. Johnson County, I live in Holden, I work for the school district, so.
I'm Carlin Dillon. As you can see, I'm an old timer. I've been on the board, I don't know, a long time seems.
Are you in your second time or your
First, but I served someone else's too,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm probably about 4, maybe 5 years in.
Yeah.
My husband and I, we farm and we have a drywall business, and we're just busy all the time. And welcome to all you newbies.
I'm Michelle Amos. I live about a half mile that way, and I'm excited to be here. I am in literacy education over at the university, so I teach future middle school teachers how to teach reading and writing and work with some current teachers in our MSc program. So books are kind of important in my life.
A little bit.
I'm Judy Tyler, and I am the grandma of the group. The fact that I'm starting my 8th year. So this is my last year serving on the board.
So we should ask you a question.
Oh, no. I am retired.
Jane or Mike, would you like to say anything to the group?
Sure. Yeah. I'm Mike Elder. Sorry I couldn't make it tonight. Like I said, I have an event this weekend in Lexington that we're trying to get ready for. But yeah, my first meeting, really would have liked to have been there for it. But yeah, I don't know what else you want to know about me. I'm an artist. I do cakes all over the world, and I'm a writer and all that stuff too. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what we can do here.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm Jane Beal. I've been on the board a year and a half, and I was just reappointed for a full 4-year term. And I live about 3.5 miles south of Bates City. And I'm sorry I'm not there tonight. More sorry than I can say because I don't want to be here. But anyways, hopefully I'll be out in a couple days.
Okay, thank you, Jane. Yeah, we hope so too. All right. Next is public comments. We don't have any visitors. Jane, or not Jane. That's Jane. You're Jane. Jay, would you like to address us?
Did you say impress you?
Yeah, impress us. Address, not impress.
I'm Jay Steinkühler. I am the branch manager here at Wardsburg. I did start out in trails in Holden and that's here, and I've loved every minute of everything that I've done here. I did grow up in the trail system. I grew up in Concordia, so every day after school I was at the library and trails there. So this is kind of a dream come true to work here. But some things that are happening here, we are so thankful that we're winding down summer rigging programs. That is always a pretty big and pretty stressful time. So we're getting all of our decorations down. And you probably saw our lovely mule on the wall, on the window. That's for Paint the Town Red. So we did sign up for that and getting ready to welcome all the students back and everything. So we're getting ready for a lot of fall programming. We have a full slate for the rest of the year. And I think my programmers are starting to think about stuff for next year already. So which is great. I love it. So yeah, but welcome to the Wardsburg branch. Yeah.
All right, the first item on our agenda is the consent agenda. I don't know, are you people that are new familiar with the consent agenda? We have those 4 items, the minutes, the financial report for the general fund and for the designated gifts, and then the invoices and checks. And those you get ahead of time, and then when we, at the meeting, we don't have to go through each one of those individually unless someone has a question or something. So that's the consent agenda. Is everybody clear on that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Do I hear a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as is.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to accept the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Well, let's see, say aye.
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 Abstain and like? Okay,
Aye.
opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay. All right, under unfinished business, we do discuss the Holden lease. So Jackie, you want to address that, or do you want me to talk about it? I'd rather you did, because you have more, you've got the.
So I sent you guys an email, I think today, kind of updating you a little bit on this. So we did get the email from the mayor of Holden. You have the resolution there, and then I also included a copy of the lease for the current lease for you. So at their meeting on last Thursday, they did agree to renew the lease without any changes. So, I don't know what else you need.
So I don't understand what his email or whatever was today.
Well, Susan had reached out to him to see, because they had requested to be on the agenda last month and then no one showed. So anyway, so we reached out to see if they wanted to be on the agenda for this month. He just got back to her yesterday. That he didn't think it was necessary since they had already taken action and everything, so.
Well, no, that he was wanting to know
Would like to understand your capital investment plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly confused about that too, because there, as far as I can tell, there's nothing in the lease that's a
that
requirement.
we have to report that or.
Right. And then the other thing was, when you lease from someone, don't they provide the lease? So, yeah, so I was a little confused.
Well, and I was confused by the lease that they sent, because according to the lease, it reads, and he's got all the signatures from the last time.
He just resent the current one, is what he did.
Yeah, but shouldn't we have one that has to be signed or something by the different people or something?
No, that's what he's saying. That was what he was saying. If you get the paperwork ready, then send it to me for consideration. And I'm like,
Well, he thinks you should do that. That's
your property that you're leasing.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I haven't had a chance to reach out to him.
I think that's a good idea to ask the lawyer to look at that and see what, does anybody disagree there? Yeah, and that's the lawyer.
I mean,
they
they voted to accept the lease as is, so.
If they're
But
not
it's
planning.
not actually due to roll over until October, is it?
October 1st is when you need to have it signed by then.
I think if we have a lawyer look at it and kind of go, then, I mean, they've approved it, but then if there's questions or they come at us in January saying we want this, then we have a better idea of
Or if he pushes the,
how we should respond.
you know, if they insist on the capital improvement plan, well, we don't necessarily do a capital improvement plan for one branch.
I think they voted. They voted. It was in their meeting.
They voted, but you need to sign it for it to be in effect, is my understanding. So
Yeah.
We would all have to, all the
Yeah.
signatures with it. But there again, he's, I guess, expecting me to get the paperwork ready. That's what it sounded like to me.
Well, he kind of talked, I heard him say that, because somebody said something about, I thought they were gonna pay rent to pay, and he goes, no, I sent you all a, email or something about that. I talked to a lawyer and I sent you all that information. So I think he talked to a lawyer and found out he can't do anything.
He can't, well, and I think you're right. I think that it is, the way I read it, of course, I'm not an attorney, but the way I read it is they can't make any changes to it unless both parties agree. So it would have been, you know, the negotiation and all that stuff, which I thought they wanted to have preliminary discussions with us about.
So are we, they want to know what improvements we have for the building. Are we improving the building?
So our strategic plan, so I know not all of you have the strategic plan yet, but some of you do. So in that, for 5 years, so this is the second year of that strategic plan. So a lot of it was assessing the needs. So assess our collection, assess the facilities for their needs, because there's a lot of things that need attention. So we're trying to, with the facilities, I'm just gonna stick with that since we're talking. But anyway, to give a priority. So yeah, we can have a priority list for each branch, but system-wide, we have to know what the priority is for each branch. I have only discussed with our support services manager, Roger, the top 12. We haven't even gone over all of his other findings yet. So.
Yeah, because I know we had talked about adding an office to Holden. But I don't know where that's at in the strategic plan either.
I think it was just in with the assessing what the needs are and then prioritizing those.
Anybody else have anything?
And I do have an appointment Friday, I think it's at 10 o'clock with an attorney to go over this. So,
And then he'll probably give a presentation and then we can move on after that. Okay, everybody okay on that, or we probably don't, there's nothing to vote on or anything?
no,
Okay.
it was just more discussion.
Okay, all right. Then let's move on to new business. The first order of business under there is the tax levy hearing. Jackie, explain that?
Yeah, so to set our tax levy, we have to have a public hearing in order to do that. So this is our public hearing portion. We don't have anyone from the public unless we have anyone online.
4 people watching, no one said anything.
Okay. So no one to speak, then we proceed with actually setting the tax levy then. Did you want me to go over?
Does anyone want her to go over the details? or-
No, it looks like we have limited room to make our own decisions on that, so.
We have a little bit, but not a whole
Yes.
Yes. But they pretty much send us the information. the
And this is
maximum
what
that
you
we
should
get.
probably do.
And it's been the same rate, I think, this will be the 3rd year that it's stayed the same, I think.
Yeah. What a bargain, too.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the proposed tax rate of 0.2562.
I second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to accept the tax levy, at 0.2562 for $100 evaluation. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so the tax levy is set for 0.2562 for $100 valuation for, that should be the 2024.
It's 2023 tax rate though.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right, so 2023, right. All right. All right, next on the agenda is the approval of the final budget for the next fiscal year.
I don't know how much of it you want me to go over. I can go as in-depth as you need me to.
I really appreciated that there was a detailed explanation of things because that answered pretty much any question I could have and without me having to ask them. So I like that. Thank you.
That's what I was trying to do. It saves all of us some time, I think.
When
Going
does
back
the
to-
fiscal year start?
Excuse me.
When does the fiscal year start?
So our fiscal year actually starts July 1st. So we have to approve a preliminary budget by the end of June. And then, of course, because of when the tax levy comes in, our pro forma and everything, then we have to do the final budget then in August.
Yeah, I would second that I'm impressed with the information we received. It saved a lot of time up front just to be able to review that.
That's how I try to do it. So sometimes you get probably more information.
Skim over what we don't need and appreciate what we do.
Did Social Security go up?
No, it's the same rate, but if we increase that, then we have to increase it because it's a percentage of the salary. Do you know what I'm saying? So if we increase the salary line, we automatically have to increase that one to make it.
On the group insurance, it's under salaries and benefits. There's a fairly big jump there. Is that primarily due to more employees or primarily due to its group insurance and it went up?
Both. Okay. Okay. That is both, yes. So, yeah, everything just keeps going up, like groceries and gas and everything else. But yeah, it's a little bit of both.
And then I had another question.
Yes.
I know, I sent you an email,
No, it's
but I
okay.
came up with more. On the furniture and equipment, is each branch given like a budget, like what you can ask for this amount of money, up to this amount of money?
No, they can put in a budget request, so there's no like cap, and then it's up to me to whittle it down to present to the board as I'm working through the budget process. So if whatever their needs are, then they can request that, and then it either goes in or it doesn't. I think I pretty much put most of everything that I requested this year in.
Okay.
Did you have one in particular, one branch that you were?
Well, no, I just noticed that Waverly didn't
Yeah.
request anything. Was it that just because they don't need anything, or
Evidently,
they didn't know what to ask for, or?
I guess they didn't need anything.
I can't imagine that.
Now, they did ask for some things, so this is just furniture and equipment, so training, trying to think, what else? Their program budget, they
Right.
get to request those things.
Yeah, this is just for furniture and,
Furniture and equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, they have limited space too, so they can't
Yeah.
buy a whole lot unless they're gonna replace something, so.
and I noticed that Warrensburg is getting a lot of, looks like wooden furniture.
And some of that was approved to purchase from the foundation.
Right, right.
Yeah. And then I will just tell you, I put it all in here because we need to have some more conversations before we actually purchase it. But if we decide to purchase it, I wanted to make sure it was in.
Okay.
Because some of this stuff, I have a lot of questions to ask them. Like Holden is wanting like a foldable wall. It's like, okay, that's all fine and good, but where are you gonna store this? So, yeah.
Well, I first thought it was, maybe they were wanting it to make, like, divide off, like, for an office area. But I talked to Teresa today, and she said that, no, she was wanting to, like, partition off the children's area when they have reading time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see that might become a hazard.
That's why I said maybe on here. We have to have discussions on all of this before I'm like, yeah, we're going to buy that for you.
If you just roll a wall out in the middle of the room and you've got a bunch of little kids running around.
And then are you planning to leave it up all the time? Because that's not gonna work. You don't have sight lines to see what's going on the other side of that wall, things like that. And then, of course, where you can store it when you're not using it, so.
Like I said, at first I thought she was wanting a partition to make an office area.
You don't think you'll fit in that storage room there in the back? I'm being.
No.
I was like, are you kidding? Sure.
No.
We can have it back there.
I think the bathroom might work better than.
Yeah, the bathroom would work better. Okay, so more discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so on amendments to the preliminary budget, we're talking about training. All right, we increased to 22,000 to cover costs. Okay, got all that. And then an extensive library management course for our new managers. Are we maintaining the people we train? So the people that we are training, are they staying in the positions? That's what I wanted.
Some of them?
Okay.
I would say the majority, so let's see. All the branch managers that we have now. I don't remember when the last one. You were probably the last one. No, it would have been Holden then. Would have been the last one that we.
I think Odessa.
Odessa, okay, yeah. So like Jay's been here several years, she'll be taking the class. Her assistant manager will be taking the class.
Okay.
And then our other three new branch managers. And so Barbara, Kendra, they've been here for a while, and then, no, Shelley's not new she's not new as a,
Oh, she's newer than,
well,
Barbara.
since I've been here.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the other one? Teresa, thank you. And so Teresa would be our other one.
I also noticed that training was increased for the ADP training. Is that because we're having to pay them wage while they take the training, or is it we're having to pay ADP?
We're having to pay ADP for the training that we just had on Monday and Tuesday. But I will tell you, it was well worse than that.
It's pretty expensive.
This should have happened before we transitioned to the system, and it didn't happen.
And then I just have one more question. Replacing the courier van is in the budget. Are we anticipating replacing it this year, or are we still putting money back to replace it?
So a little bit of both. So we have it in the budget in case we do need to replace it, because we were having some issues with it. This year, we really haven't had a whole lot, right? A little, like.
She goes through spurts. We might be able to get a quarter with no check-in.
Why do you call it her?
Refer to the van? Would I say him? No.
How about it?
So we might get a quarter, with no check engine lights, but, then, we might have a very dense quarter where, service is repetitive. And, it came to the cost analysis at one point where they're like, we're putting too much in, we need to look at replacing it, because she's over 250K.
Wow.
We've gotten some miles on it.
Yeah, the truck's like 389.
Sure, and it's not that it's unable, every time we're constantly announcing, like, have we put too much? What is how much service versus cost replaced? Where does that finally get there? And Jackie and Roger are constantly like, hey, I'm putting in is 3,000 per tire, or what, I'm just putting out numbers. Is this okay? All right, well, together.
Well, I knew we had been putting money back to offset the cost of buying a new one.
Yes.
But I didn't know if we had reached that point yet or not.
No, we have not. So we started that last year, we put 10,000 back. And so this year would be the second year putting that 10,000 back. So we would have 20,000 sitting there for a start for that. And so it is in the budget. We put it in there last year, ended up not having to replace it. Fiscal year 22 was really when we were like, we're putting way too much money into this. We need to look at another one. But we switched mechanic shops, and I think that made a big difference.
We were using the dealership, and now we go to Higginsville. There's a diesel shop in Higginsville that we take it to.
Mm-hmm.
You also test Roger with the state contracts?
Yes.
On how to purchase to find out we can get vans way cheaper
Correct.
through the state contract.
Yeah.
I want to ask another question. Okay. I made notes. Okay. On the salary schedule, and I'm not sure if that's all in here, but I kind of lost a little bit of track there. Have we added any tracks like track J, K, or L? Were those from last year or the year before?
So this is all, everything is the same.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wanted to make sure. Okay.
They got rid of A, I think, can't remember if that was fiscal year 21 or 22, but A was already gone. So they just eliminated that one and started with B. But all the rest have been B through L.
Didn't we do that because of?
I think because the
Raise of
minimum wage,
minimum wage.
it was just easier to just move people up and get rid of that old track.
And didn't give everyone a raise too, so across the board?
For this fiscal year?
Seems like we did, didn't we?
Last month, you guys voted on that,
Yeah. And that was like, wasn't it 40 cents an hour?
Well, for the,
Well, yeah,
our base wage, it raised it 40 cents, but
yeah.
it was a 3%.
Does this chart reflect that? Don't know.
Which chart are you looking at? Yes, yes, and that probably doesn't have that correction on there, but I did go back in and correct it, that one that was like 733,000.
Yeah,
I didn't correct that before I sent it out. But I did, yeah, it's still on here, yeah. I did fix it, okay.
All right, any other questions, comments?
In the budget, we still have the designated gifts. Was you still gonna try to check to see if we could make any more interest off of those, or?
So what the board assigned me to do was to go out for bid for financial services once I kind of got a little caught up on things.
Right, you just haven't done that.
I just haven't had a chance. But yes, that is still on my list to start working. I'm hoping I can get to that September. Maybe another week.
All right, any of you people, any questions or anything that you're, okay. All right. I hear a motion.
I'll move that we approve the 2024 final budget as it.
I second. Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the fiscal year 2024 final budget. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
We didn't have to have a roll call on that.
I don't know. Do we have to have a roll call on that?
Maybe just be
Do
on
we-
the safe side.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Could we have a roll call vote on that, please?
All right. Goldie.
Yes.
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 Michelle?
Yes.
Harlan?
Yes.
Becky? Yes. Patty?
Yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, the final budget has been approved. All right, let's move on. We need to change the date for the September 2023 meeting, or at least consider it, because you're going to be out of town.
I will be at the RC conference in Wichita.
Okay.
I could potentially, if either of those alternate dates don't work, I could, just do it remotely. So it's whatever.
So the dates you said were September 27th or the 13th.
And I know Jane is not available on the 27th.
Okay, does anybody else have any, one of those dates that doesn't suit you? 27th or the 13th, or you said the 27th, Jane's not available?
Correct.
Okay, so.
Yes.
Okay, how about the 13th? Does anybody have any conflict with that?
As long as moving it up a week doesn't
Yeah, that's good. I heard that too.
put any pressure on you.
I will make it work.
Well, especially since you're going to go to this.
The packet will be sent out the week before. The 6th.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing next week. Yeah, so, I mean, is there a better time?
The 27th would work better for me, but if everybody can't attend, I can make it work for the 15th.
Could Jane remotely?
I don't know, Jane, would you be able to do that remotely that day on the 27th?
I would rather not. My husband and I are going on our 40th wedding anniversary trip for a couple days, and we're going to be down in Eureka Springs. And we're
Right. that's
yeah,
fine.
we're staying that night at the Turpentine Cat Sanctuary in the treehouse. So I'd kind of rather not. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and hopefully you don't have any service out there.
Yeah,
I may not. I may not have any service. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you could do it on the 27th, just knowing that Jane would not
be here.
attend. So either
Yeah.
way.
But if that works for everybody, then I just won't be there. Yeah.
So what's your pleasure?
The 27th works for me just as well as the 13th.
Yeah,
So,
I don't have any. 27th would be enough.
Give you time to get more.
It
Yeah. So if Jane
What?
doesn't.
Gives me a little bit.
We're not, whether we're doing it on a day when she's gonna be gone, then that would be all right.
You'll be preparing the packet while you're at the conference.
No, I would do it before.
Okay.
But not 2 weeks before.
But yeah, not 2
Right,
weeks.
so that gives you, at least 10 days more time. Yeah. Okay, so.
And I can come down and sign checks and everything ahead of time if I need to.
It'll be okay. Becky and Carlin still have their hand attached, so we're good.
We'll let you slide another week, Jane, or another month.
Another month.
Motion for that.
I move that we change the September meeting to the 27th from Waverly at 7 PM.
A second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to change the September meeting date to the September 27th. It'll be at 7 o'clock at Waverly. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Oh, and I forgot to ask for discussion. I think we already did that, so. I'm sorry. Okay, all right, so the motion carries. So the meeting will be on September 27th. Okay. Next up is, okay, the next few things are the bids that we're looking at. The first one is a bid to, for fixing the skirting and the drainage at the annex.
Might explain what the annex is for.
Yes, so for those of you that don't know, the annex is a building. If you go in Jackie's office, you can see it out her window. It's up on the top of the hill there, kind of back behind the fire station, sort of. Yeah, and it's basically an office that they use for
Support services is housed over there.
Yeah.
We have the garage over there, so where the vans are parked, our mower and all that, I think is parked there, and there's some storage.
Okay. And there's leaking in the drainage. Yeah, you've got you should have the bid in your building flood. Okay, let's just say it, okay, the building flood.
Was this the only bid that we?
This was the only bid that we got for the annex project.
Yeah, so the others.
Yeah.
These were all in the paper, right? Yeah, I was
We had
pretty
to do the
sure.
whole bid process.
Yeah.
Have you had this Kale Seymour do any work before? No, I mean, I just wondered, I'm not
It
heard
is
that.
a valid inquiry, ma'am.
Yeah. Do we have a rough idea once they start? Maybe I didn't read
Yeah,
that.
it says it under somewhere.
Like the
September 1st.
Start date September 1st.
Is that a
We do
Completion. It's construction, you don't know how.
Yeah, the start date of September, December would be the completion.
I'm familiar with Kelsey Moore.
Hmm.
I'm familiar with Casey.
Okay.
Kelsey.
I just hadn't heard, I mean, it said he's from Nonsa, but I hadn't.
He's a reputable.
Okay, no, I figured, I just wondered.
Stuff to know someone that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Experience with it.
All right, looks like the bid is for $32,530. Other questions?
Will there be any costs? Are we relocating anything or anyone while this is happening?
No, we shouldn't have to.
So it's all exterior.
Yeah, it's exterior.
Did he ask something?
No, I think they.
No, it sounded like someone dropped their phone.
Okay.
Y'all okay?
I'm good. Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
Yeah.
So the complete first, I work for the state and we have penalties if they're running late. Is there anything like that with contracts with the library?
They would have to sign an agreement with us, and I'm pretty sure that is included in there.
Okay.
The agreement would specify that this is the cost, because I know materials have been all over the place lately, well, in the last few years.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion?
I move that we accept the bid from Hale Seymour Construction to install skirting, and drainage, and concrete pad for the annex building.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to enter into agreement with Hale Seymour for the installation of skirting and drainage at the annex. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Opposed? Okay, motion carried for the installation of skirting and drainage at the annex. All right, and then we have a bid for repaving the parking lot and repairing the curbs at Knob Noster. So it looks like there's two bids for that, one from Hale Seymour and the other one from Advanced Asphalt. The one from Advanced Asphalt is for $46,875, and the one from Hale Seymour, they've given two different options, $113,500 or $97,300. And that's for repaving and recurbing, repairing the curbs at the parking lot in Knob Noster.
And then restriping.
Restriping, I'm sorry, okay.
I'm just concerned that there is such a big discrepancy between them.
Right. Well, it did say in the notes, one owned their equipment and one had to rent, so there were rental costs.
Yeah, rental
Is that what you were
costs
gonna
are
say?
Oh,
Rental's
yeah,
not.
we were freaking.
Yeah.
We're like, there's no way one of you is done.
Yeah.
We're like, can you please elaborate why?
Yeah, but I still don't know that rental of the equipment would justify
Yeah.
twice as much.
They may not have employees that can run the equipment.
And then they have to hire
like
special,
a subcontract.
yeah.
What is the budgeted amount for this project? What's the budgeted amount?
Can you address that?
So we don't have, because we weren't sure how much these were gonna cost, because, you know, budget time came before we were able to get that done.
Okay.
So we have a lump sum in there.
We've had it budgeted and had bids several times already. Why am I not finding that?
It's on page 75 and 76.
Okay, we did, I think we did bring this.
Is it?
It looks like one is putting in concrete and the other is putting in asphalt.
Yes.
Well,
together
had the two
both,
options.
the two
from-
different,
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hale Seymour had bids for both concrete and asphalt. The other one only bid for asphalt.
The newspaper post only asked for asphalt. Seymour chose to also offer it.
Okay.
So to answer that budget question, so we kind of guessed when we put this down. So we did put 80,000 down for Knob Noster. We had 40,000 down for Concordia, and then Annex, we had 15,000. So yeah, we were kind of off on those. But we also have a miscellaneous project of $383,500. So because we didn't know which ones we were going to be able to do, and so we just put that big category in there so we could do as much as we could this year.
It does also look like the first estimate includes striping, and the second estimate does not include parking bumpers or striping.
See, the big difference is,
I'm sorry, I'm lying. I was looking at the Concordia, not the Ignore that.
Tails is,
They kind of run.
he's putting down 3 inches of asphalt, and they do not specify.
Yeah, it's on the back.
They go off the email details that, Billy sent them.
It's the, oh, hold on.
I know, but
Seymour
it
said 4
doesn't
inches.
say in this bid
I
how much.
understand, yes.
See, he just says
Tails.
asphalt, his says 3 inches.
The depth, so if you look on the email that was from William Stone, he does break it down for Knob and for Concordia, and it's the depth of the asphalt layer should be 3.
On a separate
It's on a
sheet.
separate-
Yeah, it's on a separate sheet.
And it includes the striping as well.
Yeah, 79.
Is there anything that is, as I recall, it's on the slope, is there anything that addresses like the outer edges for drainage? Anybody?
I don't think that wasn't part of the, wouldn't have that been in the bid?
Yeah, it would have been in the bid. We didn't have that as part of the bid.
Then,
Knob hasn't had water retention issues so far. That hasn't been, it is already on a grade and it has multiple outlets.
Their parking lot is horrible.
I remember that.
Horrible.
Hopefully not anymore.
Well, if Advanced Asphalt, already owns their equipment, it seems like they would be able to get things done quicker too, if they're not having to subcontract or get rentals or.
Did they provide they've got a starting date on this. Did they provide a, will be finished by date? Their starting date isn't until September 20th.
For advanced asphalt.
Yes, ma'am.
I did not see one. But that, of course, would be.
In the
Yeah,
contract.
yeah, exactly.
okay, other questions?
I don't know, there's still just such a big discrepancy.
I was really surprised, I mean, even with the rental, I was.
Makes me nervous because it's like, okay, are they gonna come back and say, oh, we missed this, and we end up.
Well,
I mean,
even if they do
are we
for
bidding apples and apples, or are we bidding apples and oranges?
It's supposed to be apples and apples, that's why we.
Well, I know, but his is and see, he doesn't break this down what this is for. I know that's the asphalt,
Which one are you, the kale?
Kale. I don't understand why his asphalt is so much more expensive than the other one.
Well, I noticed it was, yeah. It was more.
26 versus.
Yeah, that's really the big discrepancy.
Because of the equipment.
I mean, I don't know how well that.
I don't know.
It is, but.
Part of, we had a similar inquiry. The first line of thought was about the equipment. They specified. The second line of concern is one contractor reusing the same asphalt. They're tearing it up, crunching it, and repaving. When inquired for both, they said this is for new asphalt. But I do understand your concern of
Yeah, that's like
local
$50
versus
some odd
KC.
$1,000.
Yeah, big difference.
Their bids may have been higher even if they didn't have to rent equipment. You know what I'm saying?
They may have a different supplier if it's a larger.
A lot of
The completion date on Kale Seymour says 2033. Sure, it's a typo.
My mind.
Oh, yeah,
That's a long project. My land, $733,000 in the college.
That's why we're doing it. We all want that job, right?
All right, any other questions? Concerns?
That's big. Knob Noster has a very large parking. And it's
the largest parking lot in the district, actually.
and part of it is dark.
No, it is harder to access though. So there is a more complicated work rather than Noster is larger. This is where the kind of difference is.
Because I'm looking at the asphalt for Knob Noster, it's only roughly a little over half. Half as much as it is.
Access to that spot, getting equipment in there is going to be way harder. Then Knob Noster is completely open. Power lines are on the other side of the street. They're going to be able to roll up straight in. I don't want to be in your position, having to like look at the local guy, which is double versus the KT guy. It's a rough call.
I'm not opposed to going with the cheaper bid. That's it's just that that's a big discrepancy.
Absolutely. It took us days. Roger tasked us with, hey, we have to make a recommendation before the board. Like, how? They're two completely different, basically. You know, one is double, but in the same town versus KT. One of our other speculations is advanced asphalt. This is their specialty versus the other is a general contractor. So this is something that he can do, but isn't something he does every day. We've tried to go through all the avenues and are glad we don't have to make a decision.
Right.
Well, it seems like there's a specific guideline that's already set in case of concerns like this, where there's is it a 10% difference is what?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, man, she's already.
Oh, in the policy, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I wasn't following.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
in the policy says if you're, if it's over 10, she's.
Well, I just like that that was
Yeah.
set out,
100%.
and I had to use that as a reasoning tool in previous conversations, not with you all.
Okay, anything else? Any other concerns, questions? Okay, then, do I hear a motion?
So we are going with the non-master guy to do this work.
So the annex.
I move that we accept the bid from Advanced Asphalt for $46,875 to repave the Knob Noster parking lot and install or repair the new sump, curb.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded that we, entered agreement with Advanced Asphalt Paving and Concrete LLC for the repaving of the parking lot and repair of the curbs for $46,875 in Knob Noster. And any discussion? Okay, everybody ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so Advanced Asphalt.
If they did miss something, they're gonna have to come back and get approved for it, correct?
Yeah.
Because it's what was in the.
And have a good end date. That was the other company but they didn't specify that. Advanced Asphalt didn't specify
Which part?
the end date.
Oh, no.
Time frame.
But you said that would be in the con.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be in the con.
The agreement.
Or the agreement, okay, agreement. Get the right wording for there. All right, next up is, consideration of a bid to approve, repaving of the parking lot in the driveway at Concordia. Advanced Asphalt has sent a bid for $24,875 and Kale Seymour. I think got two bids there.
One for concrete, one for house.
Yeah. What's the amount? 30 something.
33.9.
Yeah, I lost it. That's the asphalt and then concrete's 31.3.
When is my concrete review?
I don't know, that's why I was confused.
Okay,
That concrete.
31 for concrete and 33.9 for asphalt. That was odd, 'cause I thought concrete would be more expensive than asphalt.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. Okay.
Asphalt steel.
All right, any? Is it what? Is it what?
That's an important question to ask if the asphalt is sealed. It's not
I
sealed.
believe so.
Slightly off topic, but about asphalt, the asphalt that was put down on Gay Street that melts in this weather, will we be certain it's being installed in the asphalt melt in this weather?
I'm not familiar with the asphalt in Gay Street to know
Okay.
what was done there, ma'am.
Okay, cool, I just,
They may have just put rock and tar down and
Okay.
this is asphalt.
it was very exciting when it happened.
The question is also, was anything done to the substrate? You know, underneath, was it repacked, or is it just poured underneath? In the bid request, it was specified any damaged area drain needs to be, addressed.
So you definitely made sure that,
Yeah, as
Spring
regards
things
to
like
as
that
of freezing
should
there, but, I don't know what work was done on Gay. Sorry that you had frozen now, so I had to be scared.
All right, any other concerns or questions?
it mentions no parking, the bid from asphalt, Advanced Asphalt, does not mention striping. The other bid mentions that there will be no striping. Do we need striping in the parking lot there?
No.
Okay.
No.
I want to make sure.
Not that one, yeah.
I'm still gonna go on record as I don't feel like this is necessary. But that's just my opinion.
So why don't you think it's necessary?
'Cause I was just there last week. I didn't see no big holes. I didn't see any,
I mean, the drive-through to me seems,
the drive-through,
but I don't park in that, so I don't know what that area is like.
I'm afraid that we're gonna asphalt it, and when the city comes through and if there's any snow removal or anything in that alleyway, they're gonna just tear it up. They'll tear it up. They'll hit that asphalt when they come through there with snow removal.
More than they can already do. Like it would be similar to what we already have, right? As far as the asphalt.
The asphalt?
Do the asphalt there.
No, I think it'll be thicker, because this is 3 inches, isn't it? I don't think what we have there is 3 inches.
There's nothing there except for just broken up stuff.
No bigger than the area is. I think we would be better off to just level it off and put gravel on it and.
But there's an issue with that because when they try to do snow removal, it removes the gravel.
Well, it will that asphalt too. If they just hit that, it depends, because on the back, the way it is now, there's no curb or nothing in the back.
That's just an alley. I doubt it's the snow.
They do remove, they do.
The city does?
Mhm. The city does.
Because there's parking on the side and in the back, correct?
I have never seen anybody park there except for when we have branch meetings.
The drive.
You're not supposed to park.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. It was dark when I was there.
And if it's a driveway, I feel like the city should.
No, it's.
But it's our
the
property.
library property.
Our property.
Yes, ma'am.
Believe me, if it was the city property, it's bugging.
I mean, I've brought this up before. Patrons park in the front on the street parking. They don't park in that drive-through.
They do?
They do.
Oh, do it, yeah.
Do that drive-through?
There's not very much parking. There's a lot of times.
There's not very much parking.
No.
Only
But they
park there for a
in that
second to drop
parking lot
off.
over there that's next to it, but yeah, people park there sometimes.
Do they park there to the tune of $33,000?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have statistics on that. I mean, I could just say that I've seen people.
Right. But I mean, because I was just there last week, I have not seen no big potholes. I haven't seen, there's some divots in the back, like where they park all the time.
They're trying to get it.
I was gonna ask if there's a historical reason why the bids were requested, because it feels like that would have come from somewhere at some point.
I think this has been an ongoing thing even before I came to.
Yeah.
But I know there was.
I mean, the area in the back is just enough to pull a car in.
Yeah.
You mentioned a very relevant point, talking about maintaining the gravel. Bill Toms, with the facilities director, maintained the gravel areas. Every spring, new gravel has been dumped. In my tenureship here, we have not re-graveled any of the areas. As soon as Bill Toms left, we haven't put any more gravel. If the plan is any of the gravel areas to not go ahead and pave them, then we should consider making sure in the budget that we plan to re-gravel those areas. Waverly, I can't think of all the gravel areas. Holden has a small gravel spot. So all the branches have not been gravelled in 5 years. So if we do that, we should spend that money on rock, which I haven't priced rock recently, but
I'm sure it's gone up like.
right. But you are right. When you snow remove, it takes everything out, and Bill Toms every spring would then re-gravel everything. And that had been the library's long-term solution for all of the areas, was drop new down. But we haven't done that in a long time.
I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't use a little attention and put some new to have a scat track in there and smooth it out and put some new gravel down, but I just don't feel like it needs to be asphalt. And that's just my opinion.
So what is in the back parking lot right now? It's a mixture of gravel, but it's also busted up asphalt.
That's what I'm saying. If you took a scat track in there and pushed that and broke that up and pushed it out, then you could just put gravel down. But that's just my opinion. Everyone, I mean, I have been to
But then what
Concordia
you're saying
several
is, like,
times.
if we did that, then the next year we'd need to put more gravel.
Well,
At the time, the library operation was, we would rather have a lower yearly ongoing than try to onboard a bunch of expense in the front. They were trying to renovate entire building, like the Odessa. They built a brand new branch. Waverly had where Trails was going was different than where we're at. So they were trying to make low repetitive maintenance versus heavy projects throughout. They had a different, but that would be part of the strategic plan of the board and the administration, making sure where we want to head. So it's a whole.
Is this kind of like replacing the van or fixing it?
Everything's going to be a cost analysis, which thankfully is you guys just try to decide, like, hey, is it 33 grand versus this, versus do we constantly put rock down?
Well, I don't think it's a constant thing that you have to put rock down, but I'm not saying it doesn't need attention. And that it doesn't need some kind of some gravel and smooth out that, take that old asphalt out, go ahead and break it out and put some gravel down. I personally am more concerned about the wall at Concordia. That you're talking about the whole wall all the way down that building. I'm more concerned about the cost of that than I am about this parking lot.
Oh, that's going to be big.
How many workers primarily, or employees primarily? How many would roughly be there at a time? I guess is what I want to know.
I want to say 3.
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
It'd be 3. Would be the most. I think that would be there at a time.
Are any of them have any walking issues or getting around, like with walkers or anything like that?
I don't think she uses a.
No, she doesn't. But there's no concern.
But anyway, yeah. So we do have some mobility issues, but they're not using.
when you get out of your car in the back, is there a back door that you go straight into, or do you come around?
There's a back
There's-
door.
Okay. Again, it was dark. I wasn't sure.
And that was a long night.
They basically just have enough room to pull their cars in. You could probably park 3 cars in the back. And I'm not saying it shouldn't ever, but I'm just, budget-wise, I'm more concerned about the wall than I am the parking lot. I feel like we could do a cheaper fix on the parking lot and worry about the wall.
We would need to rebid this.
Yeah, if we wanted to do a different time.
That's just my vote. You decide what you want to do.
And I have no idea what costs in the past were, but currently it looks like Rainforest Decorative Landscape gravel. For 2,200 pounds, it's $1,200.
Nah, you don't go to the.
Well, I mean, that was the one that came up first, so I'm just saying.
I don't know
For a ton of gravel, it's around $1,000.
No.
If you're going
You
retail.
go to a local quarry.
I just go to local quarry.
I just had no idea if it was
Probably less.
$1,000 for a ton of gravel, so.
Road gravel.
And the decorative.
What is it, about 350 a ton?
It also depends on if you have it delivered
Right,
or
yeah.
the delivery
So this
is more expensive than the rock.
So these were, they asked how projects. So these, I think all 3 of these were in previous budgets, but did not get done. So they were carrying those forward. Good question.
Well, I think at the time that it originally came up, they had a bunch of potholes and stuff in the back. Not so much the drive-through, but in the back where they park.
Oh.
And I think it was more like the divots where they continuously parked all the time, because there's nowhere else to park.
Right.
So I think that was the biggest. It did have like potholes and divots. But the last time I was there, which was last week, I got out and walked it, and I did not notice any. And like I said, the divots were there. If you pour your car in there, you're not going to stumble in that hole because your car's parked there. You know.
I don't park back there.
Now, unless the car next to you wasn't there, then you might stumble in their holes. But it's flat. It's pretty flat.
Yeah.
I'm glad you noticed an improvement. We were tasked with trying to level that out.
Yeah, you
I'll
guys,
leave the rate.
someone did level it out. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, you know.
You guys- Yeah, but I mean, I went back there and I walked it and I didn't really notice.
I think that sometimes it's an issue though, raining or when it's
There's
snowing or slick. I think that.
Yeah, if it's snowing or something, it'd probably be hard to clear it off or whatever, but it's no bigger than the area is. I just feel like gravel is an easier fix than asphalt.
Oh,
And the asphalt's gonna butt up to a
Right.
graveled alley. So you got asphalt and gravel.
So then would concrete be a better option? That would be harder to scrape up.
Once again, I think they come through there with any kind of grading the alleyway or snow plowing it, they're gonna hit it and chunk it up.
I'm not disagreeing with you because I live in a cul-de-sac and I have to go put little things out in the yard so they don't start down the street.
All right.
Because two neighbors' yards in my driveway. I walk out there with my little.
I mean, I'm not a paving expert, but I just think we could find a cheaper fix.
I would like to know, like how long they think asphalt would last. If we could.
I mean, because
We're gonna
Depends
redo
on the
gravel.
material, who pours it.
yeah, and then
The
there's
weather
always
conditions.
refilling in.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to have it.
Our neighbors down the road do it every other year.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
They
say.
like a fresh coat.
I guess so, but they do it every year. I mean, they're not ripping it out, but they redo it every year.
top coat weight? How much weight is run across? Are you running semis over, or is it just really?
Yeah, just. I think because of the way that they have to park in there, you're gonna fight that divot and pothole thing, no matter what kind of.
But if we have mobility issues to think about, is it gonna be easier for them, especially in the winter with the winter months coming up? Is it gonna be easier for them to get across and to shovel and to salt, asphalt or concrete?
The way it's going, doesn't look like we're ever gonna get moisture, so.
Oh, it's supposed to be a bad one this year.
I know, they're saying this winter's supposed to be bad.
Supposed to be bad.
So what about the driveways on this bid too? So, I mean,
I would suggest we rebid to exclude the driveway for now. I mean, I don't drive it very often, but it seems smooth when I've used it. And obviously the parking lot area seems to be of more concern, that or we just have to.
I think the reason that it was bid together was so that when it needs to be redone, the whole thing would be able to be done at the same time versus.
And then
different.
It would probably be cheaper to do it all at one time.
Yeah, and then is that gonna be a concern if they have to, do the work on the wall? Are we gonna have to wait anyway for the work to be done on the wall?
They still don't really even know what's wrong with the wall.
Right.
They have looked at it every which way, but until they open the wall up.
Yeah, until they took that drywall off of there, they're not gonna know.
Which wall?
The north wall.
The wall that goes across against the driveway.
Yeah.
There may be heavy machinery on whatever we put down.
Well, you gotta figure, if that's been leaking, they've been talking about that wall for at least 5 or 6 years.
It's been leaking ever since.
So there's mold. There's mold in there. So any insulation, drywall's all gonna have to be replaced. Depending on how much, listen to me, depending on how much mold there is and how bad it is, they may even have to put in new 2x4s roughing in the wall.
They may have to, and that's why they said until we open.
It may not be all of it, but it may be.
So there may be.
I know there's mold in the wall. When we was there at Concordia, I looked at it, and there's mold in that wall.
Yeah, there has to be.
Why wasn't that noticed or something done? with
It has been, it's been looked at multiple times. Nobody can figure out how to fix
I know,
it.
but they remodeled the building. Why wasn't that taken into account?
But it does it pretty much all the way down that wall.
Yeah, I've gone by,
According to Debbie Kirchhoff, that right after the remodel in the windows, the next week, she's like, that's water. And the workload to analyze the wall is going to be massive. And they've never wanted to be like, oh yeah, let's really onboard this kind of project.
See, I'm worried.
When were the windows replaced? Why was that not addressed if the leaking started immediately after the windows?
That was before my time.
Probably before I even moved here.
11 to 12, Bill had the roof serviced 9 years ago. So 2 years after, they're like, hey, it's still leaking. And he's like, it's coming from the roof. And we still have the invoice saved on the server. And I want to say there were 9 years ago they came up there and tried to tar.
There's no water that runs down through there or nothing, is there?
It's rough. When the roofer looks up there, says it's fine, but then each contractor's like, we believe it's this, but no one can give a definitive, I assure you this is the problem. They're like, gonna have to take a look. And that's also hard, is you're gonna have to sign off expense knowing that you're gonna get a bad answer. You're not gonna wanna like the
Well, and
answer.
there may be change orders, because they don't know for sure until they get it open.
But that's about the wall.
Okay, yeah, we really need to focus on the bed here and see.
Could we, maybe look for a cheaper alternative right now and see what the wall's gonna do?
I do think it is important that we do asphalt or concrete. However, I don't think it's a good idea to do it before we know what the wall is. I think it would be a good idea to go to the back and make it as good as we possibly can and spend whatever money we need to do for that now. But I don't really want to see us try to do something permanent, more permanent, like asphalt, because we don't really know at this point what kind of equipment we're going to have, or if they're going to need to dig something up. That's my 2 cents. So I would say not accept these bids yet, try something else. That's my
Do you
2
want to
cents.
make that your motion? Would you like to make that a motion, or are you just commenting?
Make it a motion that we're not taking a bid right now?
Right.
Yeah, okay. I move that we do not accept either of the bids that we have been given to redo the back of the alleyway or the driveway. Sorry, I'm making it really long.
I'm typing.
At this time, but I'll just say that, at this time.
Okay, second.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, all in favor, or do we need a roll call? All in favor?
Wait, don't we have to make it? Never mind.
Yes, you're.
It has to be a positive. You have to make it.
So
Vote.
I move that we decline either.
You could make the move that we accept it and we could all vote no. Or you can vote, you can put a motion in to table at this time.
I move that we table the bids to do the back and the side of the Concordia Library Road area. I didn't say it was a good one.
I know, it's hard to,
It's hard to get it all out there the way you want.
Okay, so who made this second?
Oh, I,
Is
I
that?
still second.
Okay. All right, motion's been made and second that we table the bid for repaving the parking lot and driveway at Concordia until after the wall, or just at that time? What did you say? At this time.
At this time.
Okay, discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Now, we have to move on to the wall.
Patty, I think Goldie has.
I would say something else. But I do think that whatever can be done right now, that, I don't know if we need a bid for that, that we should go forward with that, because I think that whatever we can do to make it as good as we can right now, we should go forward in that manner.
So like a stopgap with gravel.
well, like he was saying, we haven't gravelled any of the spots, any of the branches that have gravel there. So maybe we should,
Not under Tanya.
look into bids for re-graveling some of the already gravelled areas.
Yeah, we can look at what our options are. And it may be that we have to. With the
Because
policy.
I really do, I know we all want to support them. I just am concerned about spending that amount of money when we are dealing with that wall, and until we know a little more about that, doesn't seem like a good idea to me. I'm really sorry.
No, I agree.
No, I think it's a good point.
Because you don't know what kind of equipment they're gonna have to bring in there and, or if they're gonna have to tear down the wall and, I mean, you don't know what they're gonna do with that wall.
It could be an investor.
It could be.
Okay, were you wanting to say something else or make a motion about something else or, I didn't hear what you said initially.
Hey, would
so
it
if I
need to
could
be
get
that we
official-
seek bids for gravel for the Concordia branch?
Or to see what.
Or just see, yeah.
Explore options.
Okay, no, that's right. What, did I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. So would you read, what did she, what was the motion? I didn't quite hear it.
The motion is to explore options to repair the Concordia drive-through and back lot.
Like gravel.
Well, I don't know the more right, or just think that we.
Yeah, what our options are.
Yeah, the
okay.
board is exploring options. Good.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to explore our options options for re-graveling, is that?
Explore,
You read the motion.
well, that's what it's kind of in pieces. So, let's see. Explore options to repair the drive and back lot at Concordia. I mean, I think we're just exploring options, right? Do we have to say more than that?
Okay.
Because I feel like if we
Okay.
specify,
I just
then
want to
yeah.
quote the motion
Okay.
and make it different than what you said.
explore options to repair the drive and
All
back
right.
lot at Concordia.
More discussion?
And we may have to see with the city, with their,
Yeah, like,
what their,
No, room.
if the city will allow us to put gravel in there, or if it has to be something else. Has anybody checked into
Been
that?
gravel before, so,
Well, I know there's other places in Concordia that's gravel, but
no, but I mean, that area has been gravel before, that's what Luke says. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think,
yeah, there's.
And we can,
there
I mean,
now.
I can always have Roger look into that too. Like,
Okay.
just to make sure it doesn't hurt.
okay, all right. There's no more discussion, all in favor, say aye.
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 Mike,
Mike, are you there?
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought you heard me. I'm sitting too far away from it now.
did a strange ping thing, so I wasn't sure.
Okay.
No, I was there.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right. Then we need to look at, all right,
Separate email today.
That's it.
The narrative of what
the north wall, is that the next?
Yeah, the proposal.
Okay, the proposal for the north wall. So we've sort of just gone over that, but,
Do we know if the library will be able to be open during this process?
As far as I know, the plan is to keep it open.
No, the answer is we don't.
You don't know for sure.
Yeah, correct.
If this is all that they do, that's what they're anticipating, that they would be able to leave it open.
They mentioned leaving the interior of the wall visible for a couple rains,
Yeah.
which could take 3 months or 2 days. Is that an area that's visible to patrons? Okay, can we put like a plastic?
They would have to,
feature?
yeah, they would have waterfall features. Wouldn't that be neat? But yeah, they would have to put some,
Like plastic or,
yeah.
whether it's they put plastic over it, or then they can pull it back and look.
Yeah, surely they would have some kind of an option set up for that when they're doing the construction. Okay, then, I mean, did everybody understand that they don't know for sure until they do it, and that who knows what could happen once they get into it?
Yeah.
And this one we will need. Same thing,
Yeah, you're gonna accept the proposal.
accept the proposal, okay? Any more just, questions, comments about that project?
This is the bid, right? Or they just calling it a
The
proposal?
job order form fixed price.
This is through with Gordian, so with the Wilson Group, so all of that has all been done on the front end, the building portion. So these are like,
Okay.
what were the other two that we just did? I'm not with the mush. Yeah, anyway, it's like the last two that we did.
The RFPs, is that?
No, we just entered into something with the Wilson Group. Oh, so this, wall here in Orangeburg, and then the other one that we did, right?
I noticed that I did not notice, a start or end date on this. Is that something that's negotiated outside of our work?
Yes.
My boss wants to make a comment. He says the exploratory digging is actually gonna happen in the manager office. So the open wall won't be in the public, it will be in his office.
Okay,
Thank you, Roger.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right, any more concerns or questions? All right, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion that we enter into the agreement with the Wilson Group for the north wall repairs at the Concordia branch.
Second.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded that we enter into agreement with the Wilson Group for the Concordia wall repairs. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, I keep forgetting about this. Mike, are you there?
Yep, I said aye. Sorry, I'll wait next time.
Okay. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay. Now. Yeah, okay. Oh, did you get out? Okay, you got everything? Okay. Oh, wait, all right. Now we're, all right, now we need to look at, the consideration to hire for a seasonal position for programs and a publicity assistant.
So I know I sent you a description, so I just want to make sure, clarify here, especially for the new folks. So the main reason I'm asking for this temporary seasonal position is to give it a trial of how we're reconfiguring those two positions. The reason I want to do a trial is because this is not the first time that I have come to the board. So I want to make sure that it's going to work before we actually make it an official. This would allow us to get, a trial period through the end of the year.
Do you think you
Why
can
did
find
this-
some?
Why did this guy leave, Jackie? Why did this guy leave after a month?
So right after he started, there were some personal issues that had to do with family health matters that came about. He was not anticipating when he accepted the position.
It's not us, it's them.
Yes.
And his position will no longer be a position. You're intending to put these two programming positions, taking over programming and that together, right?
So, yeah, so right now we have the program coordinator, which is over programming. We have the marketing and communications manager who does the marketing, PR, publicity piece of things. So what we're going to do, what we're attempting to do, is to combine the administrative level stuff together in one position because they do overlap so much. And then that would allow us to have like the administrative task for that other person to do. So, and it would save a little on salary to do it that way too.
My question is, do you think you can find a candidate that would be willing to do it? Just to see, that they're only,
I think if we explain that it could potentially, by kind of what we're doing, that it could potentially, if this works out, I think we would be able to. But it's a gamble. You never know what you're gonna get.
But they would know applying into it that it was a temporary position.
Yes, that it could potentially turn into a regular position.
Yeah, I would say there'd be more of an incentive for the person to work really hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
September, October, November, December,
Right.
and go into the new year with a full-time job with benefits.
I just thought of a student who is finishing up a degree related to this, especially if they have online classes, this would be really good fit.
Okay, any more questions, concerns? Your motion?
Well.
I move that we approve to hire someone for a seasonal position in programs and publicity assistant. That's why I wanted you to do it.
I'll second that.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded that programs and as a programs and a publicity discussion. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right. Interested in donating a bench at the Waverly Branch. I think you got a picture and it showed in your packet. They're gonna buy it and everything, and they just we just have to approve that it's okay to have that.
Yes.
Basically.
So it was, so the Waverly J.C.'s and then the J.C. to do this. So.
Location picked out already, like there's a good spot to put.
I think she said like right in the front, like to the side of the front entryway there. Outside, of course.
Right.
I'm not concerned.
Yeah, and then Waverly, something like that.
I know.
Yeah.
Where it sits, I mean, that's on library property.
Yes.
It's not on a.
Yes, we own that property.
I'm thinking that's why they didn't request any furniture. They're getting the benches.
All right, I hear a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the donation of a bench at the Waverly Branch in memory of Fern Deathridge.
I'll second that one.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded to accept the donation of a bench for the Waverly Branch in memory of Fern Deathridge. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right. Oh, finally. All right, I think that's all our business. And do you have any? Yeah.
The only announcement that I have is just us trying to figure out a date for our board retreat, since it's kind of difficult. So all of the dates that I had sent you originally were not going to work for everybody, and I think it's important for this, what we're trying to do with the board retreat, that everyone attend, unless anyone disagrees with me. So I have some other dates here that I looked at on my calendar. Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
So, and is anybody opposed to on a Friday to do this? Not our favorite.
In the evening?
Football season's a little tricky because I have to be at all home games, so, but I mean. We're not home every weekend.
Daytime or afternoon, evening?
Usually evening, I think. 'Cause,
I don't teach during those days, but they fill up because.
How long do you think it would be?
I'm thinking no more than 2 hours, but more like an hour and a half. I mean, what were you thinking, Goldie?
I think
Roughly that.
I think that sounds about right.
What about me? I talked about.
Is it for the whole, is it for the whole board?
I'll sit in the back, and it'd be like
For all?
Yeah.
I don't know, you've not done a retreat in the past?
Not that I ever knew.
The only other one that we did, we called it board retreat, but that was the strategic planning. So you did the workshops for that. We called those board retreats as well. So no, this is kind of a new thing. So the first date that I have, is a Friday. So next Friday, September 1st.
I will not be here.
That's Labor Day weekend anyway. Labor Day weekend anyway.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, which is why I won't be in.
Yeah, I know that.
Thank
Forget about it. Okay, the next date I
Yeah, there you
have is September 13th, which was one of the dates we had for alternate date for board meeting.
And that is definitely not a Friday.
That is a Wednesday.
I'm okay with that.
Still available?
And we're still doing evening, right?
Yeah. And we can start earlier if you guys, I mean, the time is negotiable, but if 7 works for everybody, it should be nice.
I'm supposed to have a thing that afternoon. I don't know if I could make it or not to that.
So
Sorry, I
evening
don't
would
mean to
work-
shoot down everybody's thing. I'm pretty open 99% of the time, but
So evenings would work, Mike?
evenings work for me just fine, but the 13th really doesn't.
Okay.
I could have probably done that meeting, but it'd be hard.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right, so that date's not gonna work. What about the 14th?
I can do the 14th.
Okay, well, that one's already out. What about that Friday, the 15th? You're for home game?
No, I have appointments.
Okay, all right, so that's out. All right, the 18th through the 22nd, that's when I'm going to Arsenal, so that won't work. The next date would be the 25th. I believe that's a Monday.
That is Yom Kippur, but I don't celebrate that, so.
Not a part of our discussion, sorry. Can't do Monday.
Mondays
Okay,
and Thursdays are off limits.
okay.
Sorry.
Tuesday, 26th. No, that doesn't work. Okay. Okay. Friday, the 29th. I don't. What's your?
I might, this is Jane. This is Jane. I may not be able to get there in time because we're coming back from Eureka Springs that day.
Okay. September 29th, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, I'm thinking August.
Right.
Okay, that won't work. All right. October 2nd. We're gonna. get-
Mondays are good for Dan.
Before the year,
Sorry.
Okay. The 10th, I think, is a Monday too.
No, it's a Tuesday.
but Judy can't do Tuesday.
11th, that's gotta be a Wednesday.
I'm good for
I'm good with the 11th.
I am too.
I'm good.
That works for everybody?
October
11th? October 11th, and what time we're doing? We have a winner. I mean, if you want to start at 6 versus 7.
Where would it be?
Here, it would be here. in Warren.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easier.
What works for everybody?
I live really
6
close.
is fine. 6 is fine.
30 is mine, is fine.
6 something that you can do with yourself. 6 works. Does that work for you, Becky?
That'd be great.
Dan, can you hear at 6?
I can be here at 6.
How about you, Mike?
I can do 6 o'clock for sure.
Okay, that's on the 11th.
Yep.
Leanne?
Absolutely, yeah.
And Michelle, you said, okay?
Yes,
And
yes.
Carlin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is that everybody?
James, can you do 6 that
Yes.
day?
Yes.
On the 11th.
6 o'clock, okay.
Everyone.
We gotta do. And all we have to do is show up, or what do we have?
That's all you gotta do, just show up.
Any refreshment?
Yeah, who's bringing refreshments?
Yeah, but it's
There will be no money.
Or you
Food is always good.
I was resting at night.
No, you get the same old room, sorry.
Don't get like massage chairs or nothing, huh?
All right.
Now I want to bring up.
Okay, so I guess yes, we're ready for adjournment. Do I have to take a motion for that?
No.
Okay, all right, if we're all finished with business, then, the meeting's adjourned.